Hey,
Oh,
good to see you.
You too. Thanks for doing it so late.
It's not very late. It's 8 o'clock. We've done worse.
Really?
We're not children, Charlie.
I'm old now. Eight's late.
how old?
It's gonna be like 9 when we're done. 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be awake. My God.
About that, actually, that was a question from a viewer. How old are you, Charlie?
I am 41.
Oh, you're young.
Young.
Why? So you're surprised that I'm actually not older?
No.
Is that the impression that's how it came across?
No, but you can't talk about being old. And 8 o'clock is late when you're 41. That's not okay.
I'm very attached to my 8 hours sleep.
Of course. And I mean, we, particularly, especially we are old. On the other hand,
Come on, how old are you?
I always say 67, but that's not true. 54.
No.
Yes.
How come you haven't got? Look at this. I got these crow's feet here and like all.
It's it's fake. It's all fake. Let's see.
I lost my hair at 19, so in some ways I haven't aged that much. You know, because when you've got no hair at 20, you kind of just look the same for the rest of your life within reason.
Because you've been looking the same for as long as I've known you.
Yeah, no, I've looked the same since I was 21. Just a few more wrinkles. I mean, I'm looking at Vladek with this massive amount of hair, but having no hair is great. It would drive me insane to have hair again.
So we already did the first question. The age thing. That was actually a question from viewers. So.
Oh, really? I had to think about it.
Well, that's a sign of getting older, I guess. Having to think when someone asks you. Because if you ask a 13-year-old, they're going to know.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to lie, but they're going to know.
Yeah. God, I remember getting my first fake ID so I could start drinking early. It was great. It's like the world opened up when that fake ID arrived in the post.
In the post? So you ordered one?
Yeah, God, in the UK, everyone had them. They were ridiculous. Like you actually wrote with a pen when your date of birth was, and it had like this reflective sticker on it. It was ridiculous. It was like even the bouncers in the bars knew, but it was like, okay, I checked his ID, guys. So yeah, it actually arrived in the post, believe it or not.
So how old were you at the time?
So I started going to bars and stuff. I was 16. I wasn't that young. I mean, I was tiny. I was really small. Had like a mop of blonde hair then, so I looked really young. So a lot of friends of mine were going when they were 14, but I had to wait till I was 16 to even with a fake ID.
Right, and the legal age is 18, is it?
18, yeah. It's pretty flexible in the UK. Well, not officially, but in reality, certainly was then.
Right. Where did you grow up, actually?
I grew up in between Liverpool and Manchester, so very rural. My folks still live in that part of the world, and just fields, farms. There was a pheasant shoot right behind the house, so there's a real country upbringing. And they're still there, so I go back most years, and it's quiet.
It's quiet. You like it quiet?
I like a bit of both. But yeah, generally, I think I'm a country boy at heart. But I still enjoy the city for a few days. But I've never lived in what I would call a proper city.
Where do you live now?
Now I live in interior British Columbia. So lived a few places along the way, but I live in a place called Kelowna. It's the third biggest city in BC.
Okay.
BC only really has one big city though, so it's a bit of a pointless statistic.
So there's Vancouver and what's number 2?
Victoria on the
Victoria.
Island, which is the capital, weirdly enough. But so there's Vancouver, Victoria, and then Kelowna. So it's well, I'm sure people might look at it on Google Maps, but we live next to a big lake. The lake's 100 k's long. and Kelowna straddles both sides of the lake and has a bridge over it. So it's pretty nice.
I did check it, and it looks absolutely beautiful.
It's nice. You get grey winters. That's the only thing. So the lake creates cloud. So you get very few sunny days in summer, but then from kind of March to October, it's sunny more or less all the time. So it's a big wine growing region. So you need a lot of sun to grow wine. So I like it, but if we could just get a little bit more blue sky in the winter. I mean, I know I'm talking to a guy in Stockholm and a guy in Zurich, so
right by a lake. So
I'm not asking for sympathy. It's just, in a dream world.
Yeah.
Zurich gets a nice climate though, right? You get a lot of sun.
Not in winter. Like, I haven't seen sun for I don't know how many days now. So it's like super cloudy here and foggy.
Yeah, a lot of people here they call it snowbirding. They'll have a house in Florida or Phoenix or whatever, and they'll disappear. Retired people generally, they disappear for the winter because it is a bit grey. But finances and lifestyle do not allow that, sadly. And the fact that of course.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about shitty weather, I guess. How did the interest for climbing, skiing, mountains begin? Because you're not really from the mountains, are you? Like Manchester, Liverpool, Peak District is pretty close, I suppose.
Yeah, Lake District was kind of my main place. I did loads in the Lake District, and I still think that's a massively underrated place. It's not as varied as North Wales. North Wales gets the glory because it's got more variety, and you can normally find something dry, and in the lakes you sometimes can't. But I think the lakes is really underrated, so I started my climbing there. So I remember before we talked, you said, "Oh, you've been on every podcast. I got to think of a fresh question."
Yeah,
and this is a new one. How I got into it, so well done. So my mum was a big, the phrase is armchair mountaineer. She's fascinated by mountaineering, but never done it, but always fascinated by it. And so even as a kid, I was reading Joe Simpson and Chris Bonington books. So always aware of climbing and mountains, and just always fascinated by that adventure. I'd read things about people crossing the poles and things that now I don't find very interesting. But at the time, anything kind of adventurous and out there was of interest. And but I do remember reading Joe Simpson's book and thinking, well, I'll tell you what, I will never go to Chamonix. That place is sketchy. Like everyone that goes to Chamonix just seems to die immediately. So that was the one thing I swore I would never do, is go climbing in Chamonix. I know. What do you know? Life's funny like that. And then I was super lucky. The high school I went to had a big emphasis on outdoor sports, and I was I was so tiny and frail. Really the smallest kid in the high school class out of 120, and I signed up to do a canoeing trip in Scotland, coast to coast canoe trip, and just went on it and just thought, oh wow, I really like this, and actually I'm quite good at it. Some of these big tough guys are struggling, and I'm fine, like not having a shower and being cold and being hungry, and I think that just kind of sparked it. So I just got into all outdoor sports. Hiking, canoeing, biking, whatever. Not at a high level. I never got any good at anything. I just liked going out and getting cold and tired. But didn't really get into climbing until after university. And just I was working as an outdoor instructor at, super basic instructing, taking people climbing, paddling, but really low levels. I mean, in the northwest of England, it's not, you're not taking them up Everest or anything.
But had you taken courses yourself before then?
No. So I just, but a lot of the instructors at the outdoor center were climbers, and they started taking me, and I just really liked it.
Right.
Was never good at it. I've never been good at climbing. That's kind of one of the roughest things to realize as a climber, is that you're never going to be good. But that's okay. You get over it with time. So I fell in with some climbers, and what it's like. you do a few leads and you think, oh, this is great. And then ended up getting offered a job in Chamonix for a summer and went to Chamonix and just thought, yeah, I'm not going back. This is me. So
That's
stayed
awesome.
a long time.
Yeah. 8 years, huh? In Chamonix.
8 years. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of gradual though, because I did a summer, I went back, I did a season in Scotland, and then I did another summer, and then I must have stayed that winter. But when you first start out as a seasonaire, it sounds like a career. When you start your career as a ski bum, the off season's a problem. So I'd go back to England and work in a pub or whatever for 2 months. But gradually over time, Chamonix, I just stopped going back to the UK and stayed in Chamonix year round.
So what did you work with in Chamonix in the beginning?
Oh God, I was a transfer driver for 2 years, picking people up at Geneva Airport, running into Chamonix. Had a job delivering linen. That was one of the best jobs because I had this big van, and it'd be in Chamonix, I could be dropping off like Val Thorens. It's a long way away. Yeah. So I'd be driving, get my did they have a podcast back then? Get my music on, whatever, cruising along, talking to all the chalet hosts, delivering the linen, to try and get a workout because it'd be big, heavy bags of linen. So I'd try and hump them up the stairs as fast as I could. And that was kind of a cool job, actually. And then what else was I doing? I had various manual laboring jobs. I remember I had to dig a cellar out once with Tom Grant, now a celebrity ski guide. Tom and I spent 6 weeks digging out a cellar. Anything really. But I also was getting into guiding. So towards the end of my time in Chamonix, the second half of it, I was doing expedition leading in the off season. So,
but were you not a guide? Were you?
No, I never qualified. So I was aiming to get my guide's ticket. That was kind of plan A and B and C, was to get a guide's ticket and live in Chamonix. So I was really pursuing that quite hard, doing all the prerequisites to do the British guide scheme. So I was going back to UK, climbing the UK, alpine climbing, ski mountaineering, trying to build up experience. So yeah. But actually, ironically, you don't need to be qualified to guide in the Himalayas, but you do need to be qualified to guide in the Alps. Yeah. So I was, as transfer driver in Chamonix and mountain guide in the Himalayas. So
you did
always sorry?
Mountain guiding in Himalaya.
Yeah, I did quite a few expeditions, about 15, I think, 15 expeditions.
That's on some like lower peaks or
yeah, the highest I went was 6,600.
Okay.
But that's still brutal.
Yeah,
I don't want to go above that. What's the highest you've been?
I was I think something about 5,000, but the funny was it was in South America and I was by car there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that counts.
No.
So yeah, I was doing a lot of guiding as well. I really, really enjoyed that. I got a lot out of it. It's kind of sad to give it up, but yeah.
But did you work for some companies, or did you do it on your own, or?
Yeah, I mainly work for companies. I wanted to do it on my own, but actually, like it's really hard logistically because you need someone working for you in country, and you're trying to plan it, but you're not there, and then you just arrive with your client. I did one in Morocco, and it kind of worked out. It was fine, but it was really stressful. So, yeah, I just worked for other companies, but it was great. Got to see a lot of the world and got paid for it, but no one's getting rich leading expeditions. That's for sure.
No, probably not. And somehow you ended up. How did you get the gig at Epic TV? Because that's what you did for a long time in Chamonix, then, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I decided to stop guiding for a variety of reasons. Mainly, the body was giving in, and I really didn't know what to do. Really, I didn't have a plan B. Just was kind of lost. And Jack Geldard, who was doing Epic TV and was giving it up. And he famously said to Hugo of Epic TV, when I stop this, you should get my friend Charlie. And Hugo goes, oh, tell me more. And he goes, well, he knows about climbing and he loves talking. So it's like, he loves the sound of his own voice, is what he said. So I was like, okay, great. And that was how I got the job. I did a screen test with Hugo. I still remember we went to the Guyon in Chamonix and we did a screen test. I can't remember what I had to talk about, but it's great. I remember my first role at Epic TV was going to Uli Steck's house and interviewing him after he got down from Annapurna. So yeah, I didn't even know how the microphone worked, didn't know anything. I didn't know where to look. Anyway, it's getting a crash course from Hugo and Uli about how to do interviews.
But it worked out.
It went great. I really liked Uli and we got to know each other quite well. And yeah, I really liked that guy. I was really sad when he got killed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure I've ever told this story publicly, but my greatest professional compliment ever came from Uli Steck. I saw him at a trade show and he was wearing these shoes. And I said to him, Uli, I was waiting, he was signing autographs or whatever, and I caught his eye and went over. And I said, I hope Scarpa are paying you well, Uli, because those shoes are terrible. And he just laughed and he said, that's why I like you, Charlie, because you don't kiss my ass like everyone else. And I thought, I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah, solid. I was happy with that. The irony being, I was skiing, or Scarpa were giving me ski gear at the time. And I love all their footwear, but they had this weird prototype that they'd obviously told him he had to wear.
Okay.
They never made it to the production, that's for sure.
You're an outdoor guy. You do a lot of guiding, and you're generally interested in the outdoors, like skiing, canoeing, climbing, hiking. And then you start commentating competition climbing. I mean,
do you know where? Go on.
No, I mean, it's just how? Why?
Well, the thing is, when I look back on it, it all makes sense. But at the time, there was no decision. There's no direction. I was just, I'll do expeditions. I'll be a mountain guide. Oh, maybe mountain guide's not for me. Jack got me a job at Epic TV. I'll do that. There was no, it wasn't a career path. It just kind of happened. But
right.
Do you know when I decided to contact the IFSC was at your gym in Stockholm?
Was it?
Yeah. Because I came to Legends Only, must have been 14, I'm going to say.
Could have been.
Yeah, something like they must have been 14. Yeah, 2014. And I remember I was just sat by the side of the stage with the athletes coming and going. And just remember watching Adam climb a boulder. And I just thought, that is incredible. I just never, when you've been doing a sport your whole life, when you've been trying to do a sport for a long time and you see it done that well, it just blew my mind. I just thought that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then I pursued the IFSC from there because I thought, I want to go to more of these. This is great.
Actually, now that you say that, I think I remember meeting you in Chamonix up at Montanvert.
I remember that.
And
I think you were there with your son.
Yeah. And you asked me, like, do you think I should contact the IFSC? Something like that, do commentating.
Well, I saw you, and I thought, man, Björn's comic's cool. I'm gonna see what he thinks about this. So really, I owe it all to you and Jack.
It's crazy. Well, that's probably pushing it a bit, but I'll take it.
Yeah. If there's any compliments flying around, just grab them.
On that note about the commentating for IFSC, we got a question from a viewer who wants to know, will you commentate for the IFSC again?
I would say that's unlikely, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably unlikely. Yeah. Also, Matt's got that sewn up. I mean, even the ice climbing isn't available because Matt's got that sewn up.
Yeah.
There's nowhere left. I suppose I could Alex Honnold on a skyscraper, maybe, but the only Matt hasn't got covered.
What do you think about that, by the way?
Well, I'd like to work for Netflix in the future if they ever offered it, so I'll just keep my opinion to myself, but I'm sure it would be the same as your opinion. I would guess it would be the same as your opinion. Yeah. We've all got to make a living, right? Including Alex. So.
That's very true. And I mean, of course, if someone asked me if I would be interested in working on such a project, I would. I mean, if I got a lot of money, I would, of course, do it. Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I would do it for sure.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. It'd be cool experience, but I don't feel it's got a huge amount to do with climbing.
No, really, no.
But it's, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool. It'd be a spectacle. It just doesn't. I don't find it especially interesting.
No, exactly.
But I've been to Taipei. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but you didn't try the Taipei 101.
I just didn't post about it.
Of course.
No, I actually it was on the IFSC trip, one of the IFSC tours, and I went to a whiskey bar in Taipei, and I mean, no good outcomes from this, right? And I woke up the next day, and I'd obviously slept in this weird position, and my shoulder was just like destroyed. I couldn't move it. It was wrecked. And so the next day I flew to Xiamen, and I remember I had to go and see the Austrian physio to try and like loosen off this shoulder. And Jakob and Jesse were I remember putting their heads through the door, and it's like this guy stinking of whiskey getting his shoulder worked on by their physio. So bad good times and bad times in Taipei, but they were pretty understanding about it. I should say it was about 4 days before the live stream, by the way. I never done a live stream with a hangover, but it was a rough day.
For how many years did you work for ISFC actually?
It was 5 years, but the last year was the COVID year.
Okay.
So I think we had the Los Angeles, we had the Pan American, and then COVID came, and then I think there might have only been one World Cup, Brianson. I think that was the only one. And then they had the World Champs in Moscow, I think, or Youth World, but I didn't want to go, so I didn't. And I think that's when that started.
Yeah.
Feels a long time. It was a long time ago now.
Yes and no. You know, it's
yeah.
So now we're on the subject of competition climbing. So let's start with what's wrong with the World Cup?
Nothing's wrong with the World Cup. I just think there's space for something else. No, I think there are, well, there are things that if you had a clean slate, there are things you would do differently with the World Cups. But I understand why it's not possible for world climbing to change them. Because they answer to federations, they answer to the IOC. Once you've got an Olympic format, you can't go and change it. They have, because they're a federation made up of member federations, it restricts what the climbers can wear. That restricts the climbers' ability to make a living. If your format is set and you can't change it, there's only so much you can do to make the show better. The way the IFSC event organizing process happens is not centralized. So an organizer, if you wanted to have a World Cup in Zurich, you go to them and you say, I want to organize a World Cup. And they essentially farm out the organization process. So obviously that limits their commercial opportunities. So yeah, I understand why it's how it is. And I hope the World Cups are going for a long, long time, but I think there's space for something else as well.
Yeah, of course. I don't think anyone wants to remove the World Cup. Like,
no,
that wouldn't make any sense whatsoever.
No.
But apparently you thought there was room for something else. When did this thought begin to grow in you, like that you wanted to create something different, something new?
I suppose it was organic, really. But I remember even at the end of my first season at the IFSC, I remember writing an email and saying, "Hey, I've been to every World Cup and Youth World Champs, World Champ. I've been to all your competitions this year, and I've got some feedback. Maybe we could talk about it." And I was always trying to kind of engage with them to make changes. So I think organically, I was already thinking, okay, if I had a clean slate, what would I do? And that was where it came from. But meeting Danam was really the key moment. because he was thinking the same thing. And suddenly, when you're not the only person thinking the same thing, you feel a lot better. So, I think really after I left the IFSC, I met Danan, and we just started talking about it more and more seriously. And I've said this on other podcasts. Apologies, I'm always trying to think of something new to say, but I've been on every podcast going recently.
Yes.
But there is an amazing power to getting started, and as soon as Danan and I got started, it just felt like we were onto something. Because you start coming up with solutions immediately, and it's just, they were all wrong. We've replaced all those solutions now, but as soon as you get started, it's like it becomes real as soon as you get started, and that's what happened when I met Danan.
So do you remember what the first sort of vision was?
So I will die on this hill that this was a good idea, but the first edition was that it would be a side-by-side format, which we have, has ended up coming to the PCL, but the finale would be a high ball boulder, 8-meter boulder above a foam pit. Causes a lot of problems because you need a bigger wall, which means a higher venue, you need a foam pit. The biggest problem was the athletes didn't like it. But I still think that would have been awesome, and I still think it could be one day, but nobody will join me on that.
What? So why didn't the athletes like it? Is it because they're not used to falling in a foam pit?
I think so, yeah. Because for skiing, I've used an airbag a few times to practice spins and things, and the airbag's hard. I wouldn't want to fall 8 meters onto an airbag. It's they're designed for falling from much higher. And I think a few of the athletes had used an airbag for something before. They didn't like it, but you could, from 8 meters, you could dive headfirst into a foam pit and it's fine. But I think they also felt it was a gimmick, and maybe they were right, but I just imagine this huge wall sticking up into an arena. I just think it would have looked amazing, but I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. It's fine.
But then again, you have no federations to answer to, so you can change it whenever you want to, right?
Yeah, if we want to change. I mean, that's the nice thing is we're start after the PCL event in London. We're going to pull the format apart. We'll pull the route setting apart, how we sold the tickets, the sponsorship, everything, and we'll just say, okay, how could we do it better next time? And that's a luxury that we have that world climbing have to get used to that. Don't have. So that's what, obviously they sometimes people give them a hard time, but they are restricted by how it's set up.
How early were the athletes or some athletes involved in the ideas?
Well, Stasha Gayo introduced Danan and I, so she was there the first time.
Okay.
But I think we realized early on that if the athletes don't like it, we've got no chance. So we have to make some of the athletes like. I mean, I guess you learned that with Legends Only.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if people don't want to come, it really doesn't matter, money, whatever. Maybe you can get them to come, but they won't enthuse about it. They won't post about it on socials with genuine enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You've got no chance. So we've always tried to make something the athletes like. It doesn't mean they get what they want, but you're always trying to make sure they at least understand why you're doing it a certain way. And ultimately, it could be great for the athletes. So there is an incentive for them.
So what's the idea of the whole competition? It will be invitation competition only.
So right now it's invitation.
Right now it is.
Plus a wild card. So there's a wild card event in London. If you win that, you're in the PCL, which I think that's great. If I won the wild card, I don't care if I get beaten. And how cool would it be anyway? But longer term, the goal would be that we have a pyramid of events. So Free Ride World Tour is the best example. The skiing. Almost most ski resorts will have some level of Free Ride World Tour qualifier, even if it's a 1-star. You win that, you go to 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, and then eventually qualify for the league. But that takes a long time to put together. But that would be the goal longer term,
Mhm.
is that we have some qualifiers, some wild cards, some invites. But there has to be a route into it, which right now there isn't, but that's a priority for the coming years.
We had the same idea with Legends. Actually, we had these discussions with La Sportiva, and because they were going to make do a La Sportiva Legends competition in Mexico. So yeah, they wanted to do it there. So that was the idea, to have it like regionally, locally, and so on. But then this was just before COVID.
So many things happened like that. When people were about to launch things, and a lot of things died in COVID. Crazy.
But then again, things are born now instead, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Do you have the full lineup yet for the London competition?
We do, but we're announcing them bit by bit.
Yeah, I know that.
We do. I think we might. I'm pretty sure we've got the full 14 invites. Someone, me, has to start booking flights for everyone, which is going to be so. Imagine booking flights for 14 people. So anyway, I've got that to look forward to this week.
I've done it.
It's got to be done.
How did you choose the athletes actually for the first comp?
Some of them, like Yanya and Toby, just don't need to think about it. Obviously, Red Bull is a big partner, so Red Bull wanted some representation, but Toby and Yanya both take care of that. It was success in the sport, profile, character. You want climbers who show some emotion, who have character. A guy like Colin Duffy, I've always loved that guy. So I knew we wanted to have someone like people like Colin. But it was profile results. If you just sit down and think, I need 7 climbers, it's pretty quick. You kind of figure out instantly who you want. So we didn't get everyone on our list, but we got pretty close. And I think we got amazing. And there were so many where you think, A or B, and you end up with B, and it's kind of the same. We're super happy with the lineup.
Did you find the men's or women's side easier or harder to decide on?
Probably the women's. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember the process that well. I just remember there was more discussion. And we also tried to cover geography as well.
Of course.
So we wanted climbers from different countries, but then you don't want to invite someone just because they come from the country. They need to be a serious climber. So we were trying to balance all these factors. I seem to remember the women's involved more discussion, but we had a long list of about 25 men and 25 women. And if we got 7 off that list, we were super happy, and that's what we got. So that was key as well. I mean, we spoke to a guy early on in this process, a consultant, and we're kind of talking, and he goes, I don't care about climbing, and I don't care about your format. It's just really not very interesting to me. He just goes, if you get the famous people, then you'll sell all the tickets, and if you don't, then you won't. And we went, okay, thank you. And actually, he was right.
Yeah, of course. But were there any athletes that were sort of deal breakers, like athletes that you had to have? If X is not coming, we can't go ahead. Like,
I don't think it would have stopped the comp, because there are so many good climbers. But I think without Yanya, it wouldn't be the same. God, everyone will be rolling their eyes now. I'm always being told that I talk about Yanya too much, but she is not just a name on a list who we'd like to get. She's the greatest climber who's ever lived, male or female, and we really wanted to get her. So I wouldn't have said it wouldn't have stopped the comp if Yanya hadn't come. I think we'd have still got a killer lineup, but having the GOAT is definitely a nice to have. She was the closest we had to we've got to get this person. But luckily we got it.
Yeah. So these athletes, this lineup, to what extent will it be the same as in future how's your thought process there? Like, is you're going to take climbers for the 25 you were talking about and mix it around, or like what's the idea?
It'll depend when the next events are, so they'll be over the winter of 26, 27. It could be availability, geography. I mean, we're going to have an event in the US, so maybe we'll take extra US climbers for that, or we might take the same roster for the whole series. The goal would be to take the same roster for the whole series, but maybe people can't attend 3. So we're kind of open to it. We haven't given a lot of thought to that. Who would invite next time? But I think the goal is that if you're there, you love it, and if you're not there, you wish you had been there. Then we've got the pick of the athletes.
But is it this serious? So you sort of collect points from one event to the other?
Yeah. So the goal is like the overall in the boulder. There'll be an overall title, which is why we really want to have the same lineup for every event.
Right.
But it may be that we say, okay, we've got if we're in the States, the wild card is US. So if we're in Japan, we get a Japanese wild card. Something like that. But yeah, we would. Yeah. The goal is to have the same roster throughout the season. Again, like the Freeride World Tour, and they throw in some wild cards.
So it's decided that it's in the US and Japan, is it?
No, it's not. No, nothing confirmed. But I mean, we have to go on to other continents if we're going to be a global league. We can't just stay in Europe.
Of course.
We've got venues. We've got venues in mind for the States. We have, I think, an Asian leg actually probably isn't going to happen the first full season. It could do, but it'd probably be Europe and the US initially. But tricky time in the US right now, that's for sure. But
yeah,
we'll just try and ignore that and have a nice comp.
Right.
How do you choose the venues actually? Like, looking for special venues or climbing gyms as well, or?
So its capacity is the key.
The spectators.
Yeah. So we went magazine where we're having our first event is 2,500. I think after the success of the ticket sales, we feel like we can go bigger than that. I don't want to discuss the finances in too much depth, but we know how many tickets we need to sell to start making the event profitable just on ticket sales, and it's more than 2,500. So it's finding a venue that's big but not so big. Because when we have a New York event, I want to go to Madison Square Garden, but then you have to sell 20,000 tickets. So we're trying to find those venues that are just we can sell the tickets. But it's ticket sales, yeah. And then also you need clearance because you got to get a wall in there. You need sight lines. So, like if you take New York, for example, there are loads of great venues that are theaters, and they're just the right size for us. But you can't get the wall. Our wall is too big to go on the stage. So it's quite a niche. We're looking for just the right size. Everyone can see the stage is big enough, but it's not Madison Square Garden where it's too big and then you lose loads of money. So we're just looking for that sweet spot of venue basically, and ideally the venue is cool. That's the other factor, which magazine has.
Yeah,
if the venue's got some character, then that's. I
also suppose that if it's too big, even if you sell it out, it's a different feeling. If you want to be sort of close to the wall. You want, like, as a spectator, and I guess it's a balance.
If we could sell out Madison Square Garden, I'd probably take it. Yeah.
Okay.
But no, you're right. And we want anyone that comes to the event, we want them to have a great experience. So yeah, we're just looking for that sweet spot, size-wise, cool-wise, logistics-wise. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Some of the venues in New York are high up, so you can't get a wall up they're high up in a building. So you can't get a wall in there. And so it's actually quite a specialist or quite a narrow band of venues that we're looking at. but hopefully we expand. And I've always said that Madison Square Garden is kind of the ultimate. That would, if we could go to Madison Square Garden, that would be the day where I'd go, okay, this worked. That's great.
Yeah. Is that what you see like in 5 years' time? Like this is where your aim is?
Yeah. We want to scale it. We want this to be a really big project, a global sports league that would stand up against almost any non-mainstream sport. So I don't think we're going to become the NFL or the Premier League, but if you look at skate, surf, CrossFit, Ironman, all these kind of what Super League triathlon, these slightly more niche sports, they're really big organizations with big venues and big viewing figures. And I think that's absolutely attainable for us.
I think so too. I mean, there's so many people. I'm going to say it's already a mainstream sport in that sense. So many people climbing. I mean, especially in the big cities, maybe not like small cities. I don't know. But
well, I mean, I suspect in London, participation in climbing, I have no statistics to back this up, but I suspect participation in climbing is higher than soccer. Maybe, I mean, it's just so easy. You can climb before words. I bet it's higher than tennis, rugby, cricket, any of the traditional English sports. So we're really ambitious about it, but I don't think it's misplaced. I don't think it's crazy to suggest that we could be in big arenas. I mean, the IFSC, as it was then, sold out the biggest arena in France in 2012. Climbing industry at least doubled in size since 2012, maybe trebled in size. And they were selling out a 12,000 seat arena. What was that, 14 years ago? So I don't think it's crazy to talk about these big venues. It feels a little bit crazy, but I don't actually. I think it could be done.
For sure. I mean, you've been to Chamonix, the World Cup.
Yeah, no, and it's like,
I mean, it's like.
Well, I told you already. Yeah, like the Olympics in Czech Republic, the climbing was most watched sport.
Yeah.
Olympics, which is like super crazy. You know?
That's incredible.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the demand is there. There's far higher participation numbers than surfing, and the World Surf League is a massive organization.
Yeah.
So we've certainly got a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of ways that it could not work out, of course, but I think the potential's there for sure.
So what's your biggest fear right now? What can go wrong?
Oh God, what isn't my biggest fear?
No, well, you have to rank them.
I have to rank them.
No.
I think climbing competitions still come down to route setting. That's a problem. That's a problem we have not managed to solve. So you always run the risk of the setting not working. And if you guys have been to probably as many comps as I have. If the setting's bad, you get a bad show.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's on my mind. And we're doing everything we can to mitigate it, like style guides. We're trying to really think about that, but it's an inescapable reality. So I'd say that probably what worries me most, because you just cannot control it. So I'd say that. I'll give you that. For this event, I mean, longer term in terms of growing it, there's just so many hurdles
of course.
Things to overcome. It's almost too much to process. So we're trying to get better at just living 1 week at a time. But I mean, financing longer term is tricky. I've been learning a lot about that.
Yeah, but it should become easier. Huh? I mean, if this is a success, you can prove that.
Yeah, and a lot of people who've talked about being involved financially have said, yeah, this sounds great. Totally agree on the audience, participation. Yeah, we agree. Totally, you can do this. So show us the first event and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
So you have to show them the first event.
And now you're showing the first event pretty soon. So
yeah, I hope it's good. And I got a ton of things that keep me awake at night. Most of them will be just fine, but
but getting back to the route setting there, what will be the difference, the main difference in style, would you say, compared to a World Cup competition? Because it's a totally different format with the dual thing.
Yeah.
So how does it change the style?
Well, part of it is just what we want. We want traditional, powerful bouldering. I'm not a huge fan of parkour. It doesn't mean you can't have coordination and dramatic moves, but we want this to resemble outdoor climbing and to look like what people do in a gym. So I can confidently predict that you will not see any running across volumes. It'll be, I know it's a ridiculous word, but it's real climbing. And it has to be really hard. That's the other thing. But the way we could, what am I trying to say? So because in our format, there isn't just a top and a zone or multiple zones, which are kind of benchmarks along the route, progress is measured along the route more like lead climbing. And so that completely changes the style, because in the IFSC, you either get to the zone or you don't. And you could get a centimeter away from it and I could not get off the ground and we get the same score. Whereas on our boulders, every hold is in play. So you can set more cruxes, you can have increasing difficulty, because getting to the third hold versus the fourth hold could be the key. Whereas I think in traditional stars, you either get to A or you get to B. And in between the ground and A, and in between A and B, doesn't really matter what happens. So we can introduce more cruxes, we can have increasing difficulty.
So do you have to control the holds to get them, or can you jump to and touch something? Like,
well, we're currently wrestling with the terminology. Yeah, because ultimately, how it gets described in the rule book, and I'm currently being educated on how complicated a rule book can be. Ultimately, it's who made the most progress.
Yeah.
And so you have to quantify the progress. So yeah, ideally control, but if I control and then have a good go at the next move and you don't, then I should win. So we're just trying to quantify that. But essentially we're measuring progress. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not judging. Honestly, we've run 3 full tests where we had 16 athletes. We ran it on time. We had music and lights. And we properly ran it. And it's really obvious who won on almost every bowl.
And do you have a slab?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, we have every angle of wall because we have moving
because Dana and promised Yannick there's no slab, he said.
Yeah, that's very true, actually.
That's very true.
Actually, you know what? I'm not the route setter, so there may be a slab, but we have the ability to create a slab should we want one. I suspect there'll be a slab in there somewhere, but Yannick's already signed the contract, so we'll just have to.
I know that.
I like a slab personally. They get a hard time. I like a slab.
Yeah.
Good slab.
Slab. For sure. For sure.
What about the route setters? Who are the route setters? Can you tell us or not?
So again, I think we're announcing that bit by bit. But it is, we have, I'd say it's an immensely strong and very well-known route setting team. I don't think anyone will hear the route setting team and go, oh, those guys can't do the job. I think people, it's a very, very, very well-qualified route setting team. That's what, but we're just slowly announcing information. I'll tell you when we stop recording.
Again, this creating a show like this, a competition like this, is there sort of balancing act between creating a fair competition and creating a great show for the spectators and viewers? Like, if you design the event purely for spectators, what would the athletes hate the most? Well,
I mean, if you look at the most successful, inverted commas, climbing competition, it's Ninja Warrior. So you always have to find a balance between what the athletes want and what the audience wants. Because if either party doesn't like it, you got no chance. And Ninja Warrior is super cool. It gets the highest viewing figures, but I don't know anyone who's really into Ninja Warrior and goes to the gym at the weekend and does Ninja Warrior. It's just a show. But equally, there are some climbing formats that aren't very engaging. So the athletes, maybe the athletes get to try hard. Maybe the athletes like the boulders, but it's not very good to watch. So it's always a balance. But it has to be. We've always said it's sport. Sport is entertainment, but it has to be sport first. So that's kind of our North Star: is this sport or is this entertainment? And it should always be sport. But obviously, if you just want a cold, hard calculation of who the best climber is, then we already have that. So the side-by-side element is adding a new element to it, and that is for entertainment. So it's a balance, as you correctly guessed.
Would you rather have one boulder too easy or one too hard?
Too hard. Too hard's better. Yeah. Because I think if it's speed boulder, it'll turn the athletes off.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. The feedback from the athletes is they like hard boulders. So always rather turn it up than turn it down. Ideally, gets topped on the 4th attempt or 5th attempt, something like that. But that would be the dream. But yeah, too hard is better than too easy.
About how many is it attempts or time? Like how?
So here's an interesting thing we figured out in our research is that you end up with the same result, whichever one you measure.
Okay.
So ours is time.
Yeah.
Ours is time. A part of that is simplicity. If you're watching in the arena, you just think, right, that person got there first, they win. You don't need to look at the score. How many attempts did he tried it twice, he tried it 3 times. It's just if he gets there first, he wins. But it turns out that if you measure time or attempts on boulders, you basically end up in the same place.
And it's 4+ minutes. That's the time they've had.
4+ minutes, which is a throw. Everyone that's been watching climbing more than 5 years thinks that's great, or seems to. Maybe they're just being polite.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it as well. Yeah, though I guess it could mess up the time schedule.
Yeah, it could.
But probably not.
Well, we've made up schedules of what's the fastest it could go, what's the slowest it could go. It feels unlikely that you're going to need 4.5 minutes for everyone.
No, sure.
So, but even if you do, we can fit it in. We've got time. But I think then the show is getting a little bit long for my liking.
Yeah. How long, ideally, do you want the show to be?
2.5 hours, I think, would be nice. Something like that. I think I want the show to be good, so whatever that means. So I'd always rather. I go to lots of concerts. I'd always rather go and they play the 10 best songs, and it's short than So as long as it's good, I want it to keep going. I know that's a ridiculous answer, but 2.5 hours feels about right to me.
Right, because I can feel that now at World Cup when you have at some comps 2 finals back to back.
I was not a fan of that decision.
No, that's because it doesn't work, does it? Because you get all hyped and then it's over and then you starts again, and it gets way too long as well, I think.
Yeah, and I always found that when I was commentating, I always felt like I was much better in the first final. Because you're psyched and you're talking about the city you're in and you're all excited and there's this big moment, and then there's like a 10-minute pause, and then you go, okay, let's start again. Well, we're still in Tokyo and it's still the biggest city in the world, and it's so yeah, I actually didn't like that. I know a lot of people did, and maybe I was biased because I was the guy who had to sit there and talk for 4 hours, but I didn't like that decision. I thought they should have stayed.
I think even if I watched it at home, it's I didn't like it. I'd rather have two finals at separate days, like it's usually is like that, right?
Or I mean, they used to run the finals at the same time, and I know people said, "Oh, we missed a lot," but I don't think you missed that much. It didn't feel to me like we missed much. And if you do, you get a replay. I don't know. It's better to me than the 4-hour show, but
For sure, and as long as you don't focus on someone sitting on the mat when someone else is topping out. Yeah.
No comment. I've seen it's hard for the director, but yeah, I agree. It's tricky.
Of course,
it's maybe not as tricky as it looks.
Well, what did you not see coming at all in the beginning?
Oh, what of the PCO project?
Yeah.
I didn't see how complex it would be. Politically, financially, you just I just thought, right, IFSC can sell out Bercy Arena, 12,000 tickets. We'll do 10,000 because we're new. 10,000 tickets, we charge €50, we get €500,000. We buy the walls, we buy the holds, we pay the athletes. There we go. Like, that's our business plan. But it turns out that there's an awful lot more to it than that. And these brands won't work together. And actually, you've got to pay for the arena before you sell the tickets. So someone needs to cough up whatever the arena costs. And you need a broadcast, and you need walls, and you need pads, and you can't buy them because you don't have any money, because you're waiting. If in theory, if I'd done that, we wouldn't have any money because we haven't sold any tickets. So how do you get the walls? And the complexity of it amazed me. I would say, yeah, you just, in your head, you just think it's so simple. Rent an arena, put the wall in, call up Yanya and everyone, send them a DM on Instagram and say, hey, remember me from IFSC? I'm running a comp, come along. And actually, no element of it was as simple as I thought it was going to be. Apart from ticket sales, that was easy.
That was quick. Yeah,
we were not expecting that.
Were you involved in designing the wall, by the way?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, I'm not a technical guy, but they're movable walls, so it's not a fixed wall. It's movable walls, so it's super cool. My big involvement with that side of it was I have an aesthetic in mind that I want it to look super clean. I don't want branding everywhere. You need brand, like, hey, people who sponsor this event need to get their money back. They need value, but I like subtlety.
But you can have digital branding, right? And on the screen.
Yeah, you can have that. You can have the sponsors are getting value from the event, but I think it's always been my opinion that there's more value from a subtle branding, like the whole. It zooms in and you see the hold, and you go, "Oh, that hold is made by whoever it's made by," rather than the hold having a huge logo on it that you can see from 10 meters away. So I want people to walk into the arena and just kind of step back and think, "Oh my God, that looks so cool," and just clean, dark walls, kind of spotlighted. So I was really protective of the aesthetics, I guess, but I'm not a technical wall designer. Far from it.
So the walls would be dark?
Yeah. The walls are, It's I don't know if that's public knowledge. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's going to be a real. The look is super important to me, is what I'm saying.
Cool.
I didn't want to just have a wall in an arena with some floodlights on it. It's got to be a cool looking wall with a spotlight and a neat, clean pad.
Nice.
Yeah, not multicolored. I don't like tons of different colors on a boulder. The boulder's blue. It's blue. That's the color of the boulder.
That's cool.
So yeah, that was more my thing, and not everyone agreed with that, but that's where we got to.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect plan or control chaos?
Oh, perfect plan. Yeah, chaos is too stressful. There's going to be enough chaos even in a perfect plan, there's still enough chaos.
About chaos, sort of, after the competition, after this perfect first event.
Yeah.
What's going to be the first thing you'll do? Is it beer, sleep, or silence?
Take the walls down. So I'll be there. I'll be there with. I won't be going to the after party. I'll be there with a drill, taking down the stage. Beer. I don't expect to get a lot of sleep after the event. I could never sleep after a World Cup. I was always just too wired. So yeah, the first. I'm just trying to think. We actually have a time limit from the venue about when we must be out, and then we start paying by the hour if we're not out. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first few hours, I'll be with the drill, and I'll be carrying scaffolding. And then I'll probably have a beer and walk home, and it'd probably be light in London by that stage. Would be my guess.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough day, but a great, it's awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way, but I'd be very happily surprised if I make it to the after party.
Yeah.
Actually, did you buy the wall or just rent it?
We have a wall.
Okay.
I don't want to go into that if you don't mind. I'll tell you over a beer. There's so many things I'll tell you over a beer, but yeah.
I'm so curious about the things you couldn't say, so we need to stop recording.
I don't want to be secretive, It's not like any of this. It's not like government secrets or something. Just and we want to keep a bit of. We want a bit of intrigue. We want people to not be sure what they're going to see. So
I mean, you have a plan. So
we have a plan. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a plan.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's crazy to think what the next 5 years might look like. First things first, get to London.
I'm really looking forward to it. To London, to be there.
I'm really pleased you guys are coming.
I'm so psyched to be there, like from the beginning. It's something starting really new from the clean sheet, how you say it. So I'm really psyched.
It's a really weird feeling right now, to be honest. And I'm just stood in my house in a nice quiet part of interior BC, and it's just hard to imagine what the next 5 years could bring. But it's awesome.
Thank you so much, Charlie. It was great to have you on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for coming and the support. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. I'm sure. And I mean, thank you for doing this.
I would say my pleasure. There's not much pleasure right now.